What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into episode 139, everybody. I am your host, SleezBall. Today's episode will be my quarterback ranking tiers heading into week 11 here. Now, you got to remember, 4 teams are on a bye. So you have the Arizona Cardinals, Carolina Panthers, New York Giants, and Tampa Bay. So Kyler Murray, Bryce Young, Danny Dimes, and Baker Mayfield, make sure they are out of your rosters, guys. Before we dive into it here, make sure you smash that like, smash that subscription, turn that bell on so you know when I'm live. All the support helps me out a ton, guys. I cannot thank you enough. And I just dropped my waiver wire video here for week 11 as well if you guys want to check that out before. And if you guys can't make any of the live shows, you can always drop any comment you want down below. It does not have to pertain to the video. I try to answer every single one of them to help you guys get your weekly win and get you that ultimate goal of a championship, guys. And let's dive into these quarterbacks here for week 11. So if you guys are new to the channel, here is my QB board for week 11. Ballers tier at the top. We're going to have a new player in the Ballers tier for the first time this week. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4, Tier 5. And on the bottom right here, you will see the teams on a bye to get these quarterbacks out of your lineup. So Bryce Young, Danny Dimes. I don't know if we call him Danny Dimes anymore. Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield. And then on the left side here, these are backups that have played and quarterbacks that have lost their jobs. So Anthony Richardson, Dak Prescott hurt, Andy Dalton, Jacoby Brissett, Aiden O'Connell, Deshaun Watson, Spencer Rattler, Justin Fields, and Malik Willis. They were all, substituting in at a time. So I just leave them down there to see that they were there. Now, heading into Tier 1, this guy is just a fantasy football phenom, Lamar Jackson. I don't care who he's playing. I don't care that this is one of the best matchups of the week. None of this matters to me. I know they're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know the Steelers defense is absolutely phenomenal. This game is probably going to be the game of the week, like to watch reason-wise. Both these teams are coming in at 7-2. Tons of things on the line here. Playoff seed, home field advantage. Everything here is on the line in a big game. Actually, the Ravens are 7-3. My bad on that one. They haven't had their bye yet. But when you're looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, I mean, I'm throwing it all out the window. They are number 2 versus the QB. They allow 11.2 points. They're number 5 in the red zone. They allow 234 pass yards. But again, it's Lamar Jackson. I'm not even thinking about putting a different quarterback over him. I had him and Burrow as 1 and 2 last week. Those were absolute smash plays. He's going to do it again. I don't care who he's playing. The guy's rushing upside is too good. Now you're getting Deontay Johnson out there more. Mark Andrews is clicking. Derrick Henry's Derrick Henry. And Lamar Jackson's probably going to be my quarterback 1 for the rest of the season, no matter who's out there. Coming in at number 2 behind him, Jalen Hurts. Big matchup here. This is going to be an awesome Thursday night football game. Another 7-3, 7-2 matchup here. So believe it or not, the Washington Commanders are 7-3. I never would have called that in my wildest dreams before the season started. Jaden Daniels has been absolutely electric. And you're going to get a game here at Philly. And this is going to be one of those division tough games. I loved the last Thursday night football game as a shootout. I don't know if I really like this game as a shootout or not, but you're always going to have the tush push here. You're going to have A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley. You're going to be starting Jalen Hurts no matter what, and he's going to be my quarterback 2 on the week. But the Commanders' defense has gotten better. So if you guys have been subscribers to my channel, I've talked about this in multiple videos. In week 3, they switched to single high defense. So now their defense was like bottom of the barrel. 30th versus the run, 30th versus the quarterback, 30th versus the wide receiver. Terrible versus, actually, they've been good versus tight end all year. So that's wrong. But now their defense ranks 20th versus the quarterback, 18th in the red zone. They give up 200 yards passing the game. But this is going to be an electrifying game here. I don't really think it's a shootout game, though. That's the weird part. But I'm still going to put Hurts as my QB2. QB3, another monster game. Dude, this is like the best week of the season for like teams that have great records that are playing each other. You have the 9-0 Chiefs headed into the 8-2 Buffalo Bills. Can they break the undefeated streak right here? I hope they can, man. I'm a Niner fan. You know how Niner fans feel about the Chiefs. So I'm putting Josh Allen as my QB3. And again, you got to throw everything out the window. I don't care what the Kansas City Chiefs. I know their defense is good. I know they're getting healthy. I know they might get Pacheco back, all that. So they rank 17th versus the quarterback, giving up 16 points a game, 23rd in the red zone, 217 yards passing, and about 1.4 passing TDs a game. Now, the thing here is, though, the scary part is Josh Allen might have to backpack this whole thing. Kincaid got banged up last week. He tried to come back in the game, didn't make it. They say he's day-to-day. I've seen day-to-days turn to week with the updates this year. Amari Cooper, we don't know if he's going to be out there. We know that Keon Coleman's not out there. So this could really be a full, do it all Josh Allen kind of game here. And those are the games you want when you own him in fantasy football, especially when the bright lights and you have a monster game like this. You know he's going to perform no matter who's out there. Quarterback number 4, the man that is just destroying fantasy football. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase went absolutely bonkers last week, guys. If you had the stack, they had 103 points combined together. This guy is QB3 on the year. 41 points, 31 points the past 2 games against the Raiders in Baltimore. And now you get the Los Angeles Chargers here. The Chargers defense ranks 13th, giving up 14.8, 6th in the red zone, so about a top 7 to 8 defense all the way around. 209 pass yards and 1 pass TD a game. But again, you have number 1 who is always open in Jamar Silly Chase. You may even have T. Higgins back out there this week. That would be a nice little boost for them as well. And Chase Brown's absolutely balling. You saw him out the backfield last week as well with so many targets and so many receptions. This offense, it's like a Lamar Jackson thing to me here. I don't care who they're playing. I'm throwing it out the window because he's just out of his mind right now, and Joe Burrow is absolutely balling. Number 5, I had him in the baller tier last week. Absolutely popped. Brock Purdy. I told you guys that CMC is going to be back, and the offense is going to open up. And look what happens. He drops 28 fantasy points, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 350 plus passing yards. Even threw in some rush yards there as well. He got sacked a couple times. But when you have CMC, you get Jawan Jennings back. He plays good. Kittle plays good. Purcell plays good. Finds his first touchdown. Debo has a bad game, and he still pops off. That is because number 23 is in the backfield, and it just makes the defenses panic every which way you look. So now that you're the San Francisco 49ers, you're going to get the Seattle Seahawks in a big division home game that is very big for the NFC West standings here. So 5-4 49ers, 4-5 Seattle, Rams 4-5. They lost. Cardinals 6-4. This is going to be a monster game here. And the Seattle Seahawks, they struggle versus the quarterback. They rank 21st. They give up 16.5. They rank 20th in the red zone. They give up 233 pass yards and 1.5 pass touchdowns a game on the season. You can light this game up for Brock Purdy as another smash start. I mean, it's going to be start Purdy from here on out, no matter what, as long as 23 is there in the backfield, guys. Number 6, my first time ever making this tier, and he's not even owned in that many leagues. It is going to be Russell Wilson. So sticking with that Ravens game here, man, Russell Wilson has done nothing but just blow up with the Steelers since he's become the starter. And I was a big Justin Fields fan. I didn't want to see him get benched at 4-2, but Russell Wilson's just come in and won 3 straight games against the Jets, Giants, and the Commanders. It was a huge win at the end, hitting Mike Williams for that game-winning touchdown. But what you have to look at here is this guy has 6 touchdowns, 1 pick. He's even throwing in some rushing touchdowns, so 7 total touchdowns. And now you get the Baltimore Ravens, guys. They rank 31st versus the quarterback, giving up 22.2 points per game, 24th in the red zone, 314 pass yards a game. That is dead last. They stop the run. That is what the Ravens defense does. They do not stop the pass. So you're going to have George Pickens, Mike Williams, Calvin Austin looks to be back out there as well from the place. Pat Frymouth. I love Russell Wilson as a baller. Absolutely. He'll be on my smash play videos as well. He's going to be one of my highest ranked, below the QB 30 overall threshold you can get this week. And the Ravens are last versus the wide receiver as well. I love Russell Wilson this week. Jaden Daniels coming off that tough game. And if you were a subscriber to my channel, I said I didn't like Jaden Daniels last week. I said I ranked him lower for a reason, because you're going versus Pittsburgh Steelers and that defense got after him and he's a rookie. So I know you could say, oh, you have Jalen Hurts at number 2 now going against the Steelers. Jalen Hurts is a seasoned Pro Bowl, Hall of Fame possible quarterback veteran. I did not think that Jaden Daniels would be able to handle the pressure coming from the Steelers off the bye. And he did all right, but his fantasy game was very, very ugly, guys. 9 points is hideous. He was 50% passing. It was very, very ugly. He didn't get any rush game going. They had the spies everywhere on him. Now, you're going to get Philly in this game. And Philly's defense, their front seven's nasty, but they struggle on the back end. So could you see some Terry McLaurin here? Yeah, it would be solid there as well. But it's going to be another tough matchup for Jaden Daniels. The Philadelphia Eagles rank 4th versus the quarterback. They only give up 12.5 points per game. They give up 186 pass yards, which is bottom 10 as well. So it's going to be a really, really tough matchup here for them. And they only give up 0.8 touchdowns a game. So again, I love Jaden Daniels. He's been the league winner at value quarterback you could have picked. but he's coming into another tough matchup here at Philly, division matchup, everything on the line. Crowd is going to be rocking. And I'm just going lower on him again, just because the expectations I have in the game here. Coming in at number 8, fresh off the bye, Jordan Love. He needed the bye, man. He has been banged up all year long. And this matchup is brutal. You get the Chicago Bears. They can even have Brisker and Gordon back out there as well to help their defense. The Bears are number 1 versus the quarterback, giving up 10.4 points. And Caleb Williams still can't do anything. So they finally fire Shane Waldron. Hopefully that turns around for the Chicago Bears here on offensive side, but their defense is still lights out, guys. Number 1 in the red zone as well. 208 pass yards, which is bottom 10 in the NFL as well, and 0.7 TDs, which is number 1 in touchdowns allowed for passing against them. But you have the Packers coming off a bye. You're going to have the full team out there healthy, full swing. I still am not sitting Jordan Love. I'm still going to keep him in my top 10, even though the matchup is an absolutely brutal one. Number 9 is going to be Tua Tagovailoa, who, man, last night on Monday night, I expected more. I know they got the big win to save their season. I called that. I took the Dolphins to win that game. But 207 pass yards, only 1 TD, 1 pick. I know that Jonnu Smith was 1 yard away as well from another touchdown for him. But now you get another good matchup here. You get the Las Vegas Raiders. I expect Tua to smash again here. I'm going to keep him in my top 10, even though he didn't have a good game on Monday Night Football, but they got the win. So they saved their season. And you have to look ahead here too, guys. So can the Dolphins really make a run here, right? So 3-6, they get the Raiders and they get New England. My opinion, they should win both these games and be 5-6, be back in the wild card hunt. Then they're going to get Green Bay, Jets, that's beatable. Then Houston, San Francisco, Cleveland. So they could be an 8-win team at the end of the season. And if they get a couple upsets against some big teams, they could really make a run here. And their schedule is great. This is why I've been saying buy low on HM, buy low on Hill, buy low on Waddle, everyone, because they get a cakewalk schedule here for the next, 3 out of 4 games here is money. So in this game, you're going to get the Raiders. They rank 25th versus the quarterback, give them 18 points a game right there to the quarterback. 32nd in the red zone, 211 passing yards, which is about middle of the pack there, and 1.7 pass TDs a game. When you have Tyreek Hill, Waddle, Jonnu coming on, HN, this should be another smash to a game here. Number 10, it's time to start putting some respect on his name after the slow start. I gotta take this one too. I had Justin Herbert as a sit-em versus Tennessee. It wasn't really a great call. I guess it's definitely a miss when he had 19 points, but he only threw 14 completions. That's the crazy part. Got the passing touchdown, got 164 passing yards, which is also not great. This is why Tennessee's defense is great. But he put in the rushing touchdown as well, and that really put him over the edge, right? So he had 9 carries for 20 or 32 yards and a touchdown. So whenever you get a rushing touchdown, instantly your quarterback is pretty much going to be over projection no matter what. So that was huge for him. But now you're going to get Cincy, Baltimore, Atlanta, KC, Tampa Bay. It is time to go buy the last minute hurrah here on Justin Herbert if you can, because the offense is clicking with Quentin Johnson, it's clicking with Ladd McConkey. You now have a 2-headed backfield where they're starting to save Dobbins a little more with Gus Edwards as well. And we know Josh Palmer still has connection with him. So you get the Bengals here in a possible shootout game. The Bengals ranked 27th versus the quarterback, giving up 20 points a game, 28th in the red zone. They allow 230 pass yards, which is about, bottom 12 right there as well, and 1.7 passing TDs. And you got Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow going bananas. You're going to need to keep up in this game. That is why I have Justin Herbert as a top 10 quarterback. Heading into QB 11, it's been a struggle kind of for CJ Stroud. So I know he didn't get his boy back last week. Should get his boy Nico Collins back this week. And man, it's been rough for CJ Stroud. He has had 5 points, 13 points, 12 points, 9 points. That's like almost droppable. But now you get the Dallas Cowboys. With possible Nico Collins return, the Dallas Cowboys ranked 29th versus the quarterback, giving 20 points a game, 31st in the red zone, 227 pass yards, which is about, bottom 12, bottom 13 right there as well. And they also give up 1.9 touchdowns per game, so almost 2 passing touchdowns a game. And if I get Nico Collins, who was leading the NFL in receiving by a mile before he got hurt, coming back, this could be what they need to save their season, not save their season, but put their season back over the top here. And, the Dallas Cowboys are absolutely shattered. You're going to have Cooper Rush out there as quarterback. They should have Trey Lance, in my opinion. But, Jerry Jones and how he likes to do things. Quarterback number 12. I missed on this last week, but I'm not giving up hope, man. The matchup is too good. This is your fantasy football pot of gold team, the Indianapolis Colts. So I know Aaron Rodgers just struggled versus the Arizona Cardinals, and that was a good matchup for them. Now, the Indianapolis Colts, they can't stop the quarterback. They can't stop the running back. They can't stop the wide receiver. They can't stop the tight end. This is why I call them my pot of gold. So they ranked 23rd versus the quarterback, giving up 17.2. They ranked 26th in the red zone, so high touchdown upside for Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson in this game. Give up 251 passing yards a game, which is bottom 6 in the NFL. This has got to be, and I know the Jets, you could say their season could be over. It's not statistically over if they win out. They'll be 9-7. That'd be, fine. Or 10-7. I guess 17 games. My bad on that part. But you have a matchup here that has to happen now. And you got Joe Flacco out there because they're afraid to throw out Anthony Richardson because they know these defenses that they're going up against are just going to murder him, right? So when you're looking at it, he had a 4-point game last week, but before that, he had 20 and 17. This should be a game where he smashes again, and I'm going to keep him in my top 12. I know other people have him ranked like 25, 30th around there. I'm not giving up hope yet. The weapons are too good. I'm going to ride Aaron Rodgers for one more week here. Coming in at quarterback number 13, Patrick Mahomes, and the somehow undefeated freaking Chiefs, man. Get a block field goal at the end of the game. I had Patty on to sit him again. He was under projection again. He's only hit 20 points once on the season. I know Pacheco coming back could help a little bit, but Kareem Hunt was still balling out there either way. So I'm not really, fully going to say, it's, Isaiah Pacheco's going to turn the whole thing around. Their passing game was a struggle bus. Patrick Surtain shadowed DeAndre Hopkins all over the place. Kels got the early touchdown. But still, Mahomes has not been Mahomes in their winning games. And now you get the Buffalo Bills. And you got the Bills kind of banged up. So the Bills defense is still really good, though. They're 5th versus the quarterback. They allow 13.5, 14th in the red zone, 229 pass yards, which is middle of the tier there. And if, say Kincaid misses and say Amari Cooper misses, I'll like Patrick Mahomes more, but it's Tuesday right now, so I don't know those updates yet. They say day-to-day possible playing. But, man, it's just been a struggle for Patrick Mahomes, and it's been that year, and I've never ranked him in my baller tier all year long. So that's one thing to think about here when heading into Patrick Mahomes' side. Quarterback number 14, Bo Nix of the Denver Broncos. It's crazy to say. I think he's better than Caleb Williams, and he does not have the weapons that Caleb Williams has. It's unbelievable. So even if you're thinking about this, just think about this for a second. Bo Nix has 3 games over 20 fantasy points this season, and Patrick Mahomes has 1. And that is bonkers. So he goes at KC, still puts up 16 points, beats projection. At Baltimore, beats projection. He's just good because he puts the running work in. I know he didn't get a lot of rush yards against Kansas City, but you always have that upside here. You get the Atlanta Falcons, who rank 26th versus the quarterback, giving up 20 points a game right there. Great matchup. They do rank 30th in the red zone, so higher touchdown upside. 229 pass yards per game, which is middle of the pack, and 1.8 touchdowns a game. And he has no weapons, but he's still making it happen. I've got to start putting some respect on Bo Nix's name. This is the highest I've ever ranked him all year long, and I'm going to keep him at quarterback 14 this week. Quarterback number 15, Jameis Winston. So the New Orleans Saints have fire sold everything. So when you're reading these numbers right here, Marcus Lattimore gone. They're pretty much, I know they got the big win with the new head coach, and that was really weird, but I didn't think that would happen, especially against the Falcons. That was crazy to me. So when you're reading these numbers, remember, they're tempered. So the Saints they rank 9th versus the quarterback, giving up 13.8. They rank 4th in the red zone, so about a top 6 to 7 defense. 258 pass yards allowed, though. So that's bottom, 8 right there. And 0.8 touchdowns because they stingy up in the red zone. But you got to remember, they're missing a lot of pieces. They're missing every single piece they have. Now, Valdez-Scantling is their number 1. And Jameis Winston loves to sling the ball. So you're going to have Cedric Tillman out there. You're going to have Jerry Jeudy. You're going to have Nick Chubb even healthier. And they're all coming off a bye as well. I expect them to come out firing in this game. And I have Jameis Winston as a top 15 quarterback. Quarterback number 16, the only guy that can throw 4 to 5 picks in every single game he does, he wins it. It is Jared Goff. Absolutely crazy that they won that game. I cannot believe it. Like, if you're a Packers fan, you're really mad about that game because that just puts him another game ahead in the division. So his past 2 games, when he plays good defenses, Green Bay and Houston, he's had 9 and 7 points. Absolutely terrible, right? 5 interceptions last week. Now you get Jacksonville. We don't know if Trevor Lawrence is going to be out there. Could be, another showing from Mac Jones, who is not great. And in a game like that, you got to think the game script is going to favor Gibbs and Montgomery here. So, yeah, could he get a couple touchdowns earlier, a couple touchdowns by half, possibly have a 15, 16-point game? Yeah, he could. Could he also have a 7 to 8-point game where it's a full rushing game? They just blow him out. That could also happen as well. So that's why I have Jared Goff lower than normal here. And he just looked like he was just not engaged in that game versus Houston, but somehow they still won. Coming up behind him, Matthew Stafford. So, God, man, I even though I called the win, I'm such a Cooper Kupp Stafford fan. I just have been forever. He played terrible against Miami. He only had 9 points. He threw 46 pass attempts, no touchdowns. Like, when have you ever seen that from Matthew Stafford, where he throws 46 pass attempts and no touchdowns? That's absolutely bonkers to me. The Miami defense, you got to throw a shout out to them. They played a lot better than I thought, and now you're going to get New England. So this should be a good game here for Stafford. But New England is actually not bad versus the quarterback. They rank 11th. They only give up 14.3. They rank 13th in the red zone, 223 pass yards, about middle of the pack, and only 1.2 passing TDs a game. Where New England really struggles is the run game. So I expect Kyren Williams to have a big game here. I also expect Kyren to have a big game against the Dolphins. That didn't happen either. So the Rams, this is like a save your season kind of moment game here. It's an easy matchup. They should get the win. I just don't know if I trust Stafford as a full stardom, but I'm going to rank him as my QB 17 here. Rounding out the end of tier 2 here is going to be Geno Smith. And it's weird to say, Geno Smith is like a roller coaster ride versus San Francisco 49ers. Trust me, I'm a Niner fan. I know this. And he got 12 points against us last time. And we didn't have CMC out there last time. So now you're going to have to keep up scoring more. You're going to have to be more, we're going to need more yards, more points no matter what. And they're coming off a bye. So am I kind of worried about Geno Smith having that 20-point pop-off game here? He could. You're going to have DK Metcalf back out there healthy. He hasn't played since week 7. You're going to have JC's and Lockett. Noah Fant will be back as well. Kenneth Walker will be out there healthy. It's going to be a tough stop. They have a lot of weapons, but it's like, just you got to look back at like the career stats here of like these matchups. Like Geno Smith will go bad one game, pop one game against the Niners, bad or pop one game, then bad the next game. So I know I have him at 18, but I could see him having that pop game here. I just know how it goes between these teams. I know I have him ranked kind of middle of the tier still, but I'm okay with him as a start. It's just shaky for me. Quarterback number 19, Drake May, the rookie. He had absolutely a brutal stretch, guys. He should be on most waiver wires. He was just on my waiver wire video. So he comes out first 2 games against Houston, Jacksonville, and drops 20. Then he plays the Jets, Tennessee, and Chicago, the 3 pretty much tough defenses you can play as a quarterback. And he doesn't really score over 15. He averages like 12 points, right? So it gets tough. Now you get the LA Rams. LA Rams did just hold Tua pretty well. But what does Tua not do? Tua doesn't run because it's a concussion nightmare, right? So Drake May, you're going to have Verse who comes off the edge all the time. You're going to have tons of lanes for Drake May to step onto. I think he has a big rushing game here. And kind of an interesting start. I don't like him as like a smash start or anything like that. But something you should be picking up off your waiver wire because the schedule is just going to get good for them. So after the Miami game, they get Indy, then they get Arizona, then they get Buffalo in the playoffs, which is tough. But if I can get Indy and Arizona for Drake May, should be 2 good pickup games here coming ahead, and I have him at quarterback at 19 right now. Coming in behind him is going to be Kirk Cousins. And it doesn't get any worse right here for Kirk Cousins this week, right? Coming off an absolutely brutal loss to the Saints when the Saints were fire selling. And now you get Denver at Denver. I mean, I said bench Patrick Mahomes. I've almost benched every single quarterback versus Denver. This defense is my favorite defense. I think they're the number 1 defense in football. And you're going to have weapons. So probably more of a Mooney game here because you'll see a lot of Drake London on PS2, who's probably the best shadow corner. Probably a Bijan game here. I mean, Bijan's been out of his mind. It's bonkers. But I just don't like anyone versus Denver. And Denver is number 8 versus the quarterback. They only allow 13 points a game. They're 7th in the red zone, so top 10 in both categories. 212 passing yards and 1.2 passing TDs a game. Do I want start Kirk. No, I do not this week. I have him at quarterback 20. Quarterback 21. Oh, I had him in my baller tier last week. The matchup of all matchups versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were 30th versus the quarterback and 32 versus the wide receiver. And Sam Darnold goes out and throws 3 picks. I'm done. I'll never put him in the baller tier again. I took my shot. I missed it. And now you get a matchup here with Sam Darnold where it's not good at all. Like I've said in the video, the Tennessee Titans defense is lights out, guys. So here's how you have to look at it. Numbers, they give up 16.2, which is 18th, 22nd in the red zone, but they only give up 171 pass yards a game, which is number 1 in the NFL. So, and I know Ladarius Sneed just said that he's mad about being part of the Titans today, so who knows what's going to happen there as well. But I don't like this matchup for the Minnesota Vikings. I think it's going to be an ugly grunge game, like 12, 14, 10, 17, 14, just like they had last week. And I don't like Sam Darnold this week. Coming in at 22, if he's out there playing. So it could be Mac Jones again, could be Trevor Lawrence. The update was that he was, practicing limited, trying to get out there to fight. If it's Trevor Lawrence and he's out there, do I trust him with the injury? No, I do not, but the matchup is great. The Detroit Lions are very bad versus the wide receiver, but versus the quarterback, they're 12th. They give up 14.4 points a game. They're number 8 in the red zone. So about a top 10 defense combined together, but 262 pass yards. This is what I'm talking about right here. So you could get the garbage T-Law time. You could get the garbage touchdowns. You could get the good. Those count too. And the Detroit Lions really struggle versus the wide receiver. So if Trevor Lawrence is out there, BTJ could have a big day. Parker Washington, Evan Ingram, maybe some Gabe Davis here and there. I don't really love it. I don't hate it. I don't trust him at all. Coming in behind him is Caleb Williams. And man, I know they just fired Shane Waldron. Thank God they should have done that before the season. If you were watching our shows before the season, we literally talked about he is going to be the problem all year long. And he just had, guys, 5 straight gold matchups in a row. He did good against Jacksonville and Carolina, right? But Washington, Arizona, New England, he hasn't scored over 10.2 points in those 3 games. It was time to pull the plug. Now you get the Green Bay Packers. There's even talk of Caleb getting benched. That's how bad it's been. Now the Green Bay Packers are fresh off a bye. They're 6th versus the quarterback, giving up 13 points a game. They only give up 225 pass yards, just middle of the tier there, and 1.4 passing TDs a game. And Caleb Williams is going to be running for his life in this game. I do not like him at all versus Green Bay this week. Hate to say it. Heading down to tier 4, man. I know what I've said about Joe Flacco. I really want to see Anthony Richardson out there. I know. But you just can't do it. If you're a smart coach, which, Steichen and I think they are, you cannot throw this guy out there versus Minnesota, versus Buffalo, versus the New York Jets, versus Detroit. So I really think they're just using Flacco for these 4 tough games here, or possibly leading to the bye and then let Anthony Richardson play out the season at the end and see if they can hang in there or not. But, I mean, you're going against the Jets. I don't like Flacco at all in this game. I know Kyler Murray shredded him, but he shredded him because he's mobile in the pocket. Joe Flacco is a statue. I know the Jets defense dropped a lot. They were a top 10 defense all year versus the quarterback till last week. So now they rank 14th. They give up 15 points a game, 10th in the red zone, so about top 12 all around. 189 pass yards allowed, which is still 3rd best in the NFL. And again, Kyler Murray just destroyed him. So this could be like the Jets come out firing with everything on the line. Do I like Flacco in this game? No, I do not. Derek Carr and the Valdez-Scantling. I don't know what the hell happened last week. He got 23 fantasy points, guys. 23. He only had 16 completions for 269 yards and 2 touchdowns. Even rushed the ball for 17 yards, bombing them to Valdez-Scantling. Absolutely crazy to beat the freaking Falcons. I did not see this at all. Now, you're getting a game here against Cleveland. Cleveland Brown defense, no matter how you look at it, and I've said this like 100 times in my videos, it's a good defense. I know they traded away Zadarius Smith, so they're kind of losing pieces there. And they know their season's pretty much over. But still, they're going to be out there fighting. They're 3rd in the red zone. They do rank 22nd versus the quarterback, getting up 16 points, 224 pass yards, middle of the pack there, 1.3 TDs. There's no weapons but Alvin Kamara. I don't think you're going to see Valdez-Scantling pop off again. It looks like Olave's season may be over, but he might, come back at the end of the season, which would be pointless unless they can win 5 straight here, which I mean, they beat the Falcons. If they beat the Saints, or if they beat the Browns, I'm gonna lose my mind here again. And be like, are they really gonna try and make a late season push here? I don't think so. I don't like Carr. I have him really, really low. Will Levis coming in right behind Derek Carr. I definitely did not see the game that he had at all. I did not see him coming in. I did not see him dropping 20 fantasy points, his highest score of the season, and 175 yards, 2 TDs. Calvin Ridley's getting fed like a machine, 41 rushing yards to go with it. He was sacked out of control like 7 times as well. But it was kind of a close game there for a bit. And I know Minnesota's going to get after him. If the Chargers just got 7 sacks, Minnesota blitzes at the highest rate, he's going to be in for a nightmare of sacks in this game versus Minnesota. But Minnesota really struggles versus the wide receiver. So, I mean, Calvin Ridley's in for a big game here. Minnesota ranks 30th versus the wide receiver. They give him 39.5, 28th in the red zone, 178 passers just in the wide receiver position. So, could he, have a game here? Could. Do I like it? No, because I think the blitz package is going to get after him. But I think Calvin Ridley's in for a big game. We'll get to that in my wide receiver video. Quarterback 27 is going to be Gardner Minshew. We don't even know if he's going to be the starter for long in this game. You could see Desmond Ridder. Do I really need to talk about the defense? Are you really starting this guy? No, not really. And then quarterback 32 is going to be Cooper Rush. This should be Trey Lance. And if it was Trey Lance, I'd probably put him a little higher for the rushing upside. I mean, Cooper Rush got absolutely destroyed last weekend. He had negative fantasy points, guys. -2. That, as a starting quarterback, is terrible. Should be your sign. I don't know what Jerry Jones is doing. He only had 45 pass yards. Think about that for a second. 45. That is why I'm also worried about Jaden Daniels, guys. The Philly defense is getting better. They're after it now. They're chasing that one spot. And man, Cooper Rush, it's just rough. Thanks for rocking with me today. That is the end of the episode. That is my QB Week 11 tiers. All 28 quarterbacks, all matchups, guys. Before we head out, guys, make sure you smash that like. Make sure you smash that subscription. Helps me out a ton. I cannot thank you guys enough for all the support. Again, also pop that bell on. I will be live Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday this week, every single day, taking all questions, different shows, different content creators, everything like that. And man, last Saturday with the community was insanely fun. Thank you guys for coming out. Absolutely blessed. That's the first time I've ever hit 60 views on a stream, man. That was awesome to see. Again, you guys have been just unbelievable. And I've dropped my waiver wire is out there as well. My next video will be defense and kickers, so I'll try to get to running back, wide receivers, tight ends today. I am going to go see the movie Venom tonight with the fam. So I don't know if I'll get it all done, but I'll try. And then I promise I'll get it all out by Thursday or Friday this week. I know I missed last week again. Sorry, guys, on that point. And that's it for me on this video. SleezBall out. I'll catch you in the next one, man.